This na another time wey we dey take yarn about throat cancer day. The team na united by unique. Flos Health Watch Foundation dey in partnership with Medical Women's Association of Nigeria and Pathfinder Foundation. We for Watch FM 94.9 come body come support dem on top the matter to sama you correct better things like health talk, cervical cancer screening for women and HPV vaccination for girls wey dey between 9 to 14 years old. Date na February 13th, 14th and 15th. Time na 10 am to 4 pm days. Address na plot 770 ᴊ̀midé Odujore Avenue, Omahleke Phase 2 Olorun Lagos State. Makee youtell person make you tell another person say Watch 94.9 FM better things jaburata. Follow us on social media for more engaging and fun content. On Instagram, Wash9fin49 Facebook, Wash9fin49, and on X, Wash94949.
Yes, you're still on to Watch 94.9  FM, your number 1 phone health radio. And this morning on Talk to Doctortortoror, like we said earlierr, we have an embodiment of knowledge, a top medical personnel right here with us. And that is in person of no other person of no a Nigerian medical doctor and the current president of the Medical Women's Association of Nigeria, that's NWAN. And she has advocated for women's's health, maternal and child health, and healthcare policy reforms in Nigeria. She has also worked to promote gender equality, and empowerment of women,'s in the medical profession. She received several awards and recognitions for contributions to healthcare and women's empowerment in Nigeria. She has also published several awards and recognitions on women's health and 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 HPV, and that's the Samuel. Dr. Funmi is here with us live, and she's a Nigerian medical doctor, the current president of the Medical Women's Association of Nigeria.
Let's get right at it. Let's get right at it. Okay, talking about HPV. Yes, what do you think HPV is all about from from your own expert knowledge? Would like to get your point of view. HPV is an abbreviation for human papillomavirus. So as the the name implies, it is theve a virus. The name implies it's a virus that causes an infections that occurring dependinginginghh and on the part of the body and depending on the the strains of the virus. And the most the commonly mostranted STIs, sexually transmitted intercourse. So it is sexually transmitted it doesn't have a cure. A suffererer A sufferererr know resolve on its own so you will never know know you know and it is gone. present with symptoms per se. When that affected person person infected personted person personted to someoneew symptomss.
but some become very serious to the point of causing an infection, even to the point of cancer. By the way, the HPV, a particular strain, is the one implicated in cancer of the cervix, which is the
Cervical cancer, yes.
cancer that affects some women.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ige. Just like you've hinted, HPV is one of the most common viral infections, and most people don't get to know that they have these things, and would love to understand something. Let's understand the ways at which it's being transmitted, and who tend to be more at risk of HPV.
Okay, so it can be transmitted through cuts, just through an open wound, or rather an opening in the skin of our body or our mucous membrane. We have our mucous membrane, those lining of our nose, our mouth, and our genital area. These are areas where we have the mucous membranes, and then our skins. So if there is a breach in the integrity of the skin, for instance, the virus
Can come
come in through them. And of course, during sexual intercourse, there's also a breach in the mucous membrane, can also come in through them. So those are the ways the virus can come into the human body.
If I may interject as well, you say through sex as well. If there is a protection, can the person still contact?
By protection, you mean
Condoms.
condom? No, there is condom is not protective.
Okay.
Interestingly, because most times, not even all the time, that people use protective devices during sexual intercourse. One, two. Remember, it's not only through sex. Just that sex is the commonest way. So through cuts in the body, another, for any reason, there's skin-to-skin contact,
Okay.
or from an infected person to another, that can happen. So condom is not protective.
Good to know. I love the fact that you've been able to clarify that. And before I get to you, Samuel, I also want to understand something. As far as this is still concerned, we're looking at the issue of HPV here, and you've mentioned something about how condom can protect it. But then we look at during the one of our programs here on Rush FM earlier today, caller called to say it appears that we're giving vaccines more to girls. Why not boys? And so why is it that it appears that HPV we tend to give the vaccines more to girls? If you may help provide more clarity on that.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that, to respond to that and to clarify it. HPV, the virus, can affect anybody, boys, girls, men, women. Now, I did say that the HPV vaccine is protective against cancer of the cervix, which HPV has been implicated to be a major positive agent.
Okay.
Right? Now, I've also said that it is sexually transmitted. So it means that for someone who is not yet sexually active, chances of having the virus is slim. You agree?
Yes.
Good. And we now say we need to catch them young. Before our girls become sexually active, let's vaccinate them and protect them from the HPV and the chances of their coming down with cancer when eventually they become sexually active. I don't know where I feel.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So that's the reason why that age group was picked scientifically. Personally, I believe that if as adults, parents, and guardians, we take care of our girls very well by good training, by monitoring them appropriately, inculcating in them the right values, they are not likely to have become sexually active between age 9 and 14.
Okay.
So when they get the vaccine, they are protected. There are, by the way, there are two types of the vaccine. There is the vaccine that you can take 2 doses at a time. There is the time you can take one. The one that is being given in Nigeria, that's available now in Nigeria as I speak, is the one in a lifetime dose. Just a simple dose to
And that's all.
And that's all. So it's to protect our girls. Now that does not mean that boys cannot be vaccinated, and it does not mean that older women too cannot be vaccinated. But what is available now
by the National Primary Care Board and the Lagos State Primary Care Board, what is available in our community now is a single dose, and it's available for girls, and it is free. So older women, when they will have to get it, they will have to pay for it, but not in government facilities yet. I think it's something government is doing gradually. I believe this time it will be very available, and anyone can walk into any of our health facilities
And have access to
get
it.
access to it. So now government is focusing on the girls. That doesn't mean that the boys too cannot get it.
Get it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that clarification. Yes, you were mentioning something about the strains of HPV, and then you talked about the symptoms, that some can actually be very strong and some mild and all of that. Please, can you tell us basically, just to buttress on that, to talk about the symptoms of HPV? What are the major symptoms?
Yes, one symptom that is common to almost all infections is itching, especially when it has to do with the genital area. Yes, some people come down with itching, a few times some soreness.
Okay.
It's not particularly very painful, and that is part of the reason why you will not know that you will have it. Okay, but the symptom that draws your attention, that makes you know that, oh, something is wrong somewhere, it's warts. 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 It's like a fleshy, bumpy growth in the genital area.
More like blisters.
Blisters, yes, but well, it's
Boil,
like something it has this cauliflower appearance, like a growth. It's like a growth, and it has cauliflower appearance, like if you have a full cauliflower, like I think something like the sunflower. So it has serrated edges, not particularly smooth, and all that. So that appearance, that's what is. You can have it in the vagina, you can have it at the base of the tongue, we call it the oropharynx. That yes, you can have it there, some of that mucous membranes. So that usually what now draws attention. That what is this that has grown
Yeah.
and that's usually what takes people to the hospital. Yes, and of course that can be handled.
Thank you for that. Well, how do you think this can be diagnosed, this particular symptoms? How are they diagnosed?
Yes, it's through subjecting oneself to tests.
Okay.
For the women, if they come for screening, for example, the kind of screen that is ongoing, they can be tested and screened, and if they are positive for the virus, then can go for treatment.
Thank you very much for that.
Okay, so just like you stated, talking about the signs, the symptoms, but at what stage does these symptoms start to emanate? Is it that right at the beginning stage, or it must have gotten to a point where, oh, it's a little too late, so the symptoms start, developing, or it begins just so that person
Well,
should know?
actually, if it is sexually transmitted, it takes about 3 to 6 months after the exposure to the
person
virus.
yeah.
Yes, before you could even tell. So it's not something that okay, I do it now and then
Figure it out.
immediately. Yes, I can
Okay.
know. So that's why multiple sexual partners are discouraged. So if you have multiple sexual partners and about 3 6 months down the line you start
Then
feeling symptoms, you now begin to wonder which of
Which
the
of them?
partners. So that's why that's discouraged. But so it's not something that you know immediately. And unfortunately, sadly too, before in a woman, before it develops to the point of cancer, start manifesting, it even take decades, 10 years, 15, even 20 at times. Yeah. So that's why we advocate regular screening for women. They should screen themselves for cervical cancer, so that if it's there, it can be detected early.
Early.
Yes, once it's detected early, it's curable, it's treatable. But detection is the problem. When people don't present themselves early enough, that's where the challenge is.
Okay.
I think we should go into the
Yes.
treatment because we have barely
Now,
7 minutes. on the
Okay,
broadcast.
I would just like to ask a related question here concerning the HPV vaccine. That are there major side effects?
No, the HPV vaccine is safe and very effective.
Side effects, well, nothing in life is absolute. So we will not say there are no side effects. There could be, but it's rare, and it's very few people
Okay.
come down with side effects. And side effects, other than, there are common side effects, none other than pain at the junction site, for example. A few people, they pain may linger for a few months.
Yes. Okay, and still talking about the consequences, I think yesterday we had one of our guests also talk about why some vaccines perhaps would want to abstain from the vaccine because certain narrative keeps being peddled that giving your child that vaccine would expose them to sex, so makes them a little promiscuous. Can you help us, provide some clarity on that? Fantastic.
it's a myth naturee and dispel it and discourage it means free. Okay, even though we have just a few minutes to go, Lagos, if you have questions, don't forget to give us a call. And we are offering these vaccines today. We kicked off yesterday. We're doing this here in our plot 770 Shamido Road during Avenue in Omole Phase 2 here in Lagos. Don't forget, we're also creating awareness and providing free cervical cancer screening. Kicked off already. Today, time is 10 till 4 p.m. It's kicked off already. And if you can't make it today, Valentine's Day, for one reason or the other, tomorrow is another time. If you can make it today, Valentine's Day, tomorrow is another. You want to say something about it, but you want to say something about it.
Yes, that's the best Valentine's gift
You can give to anybody.
Exclusive. Come forth.
Yes. So I'll encourage them. And just to mention too that medical women, the M1 Lagos, that is our M1 Lagos, and with the support of Pathfinder International, we are partnering with Watch FM in this.
Amazing stuff,
I want to lend my voice to it. Please come and get screened. Encourage your wife, your sister, your aunts and girlfriends to come and get screened. Yes, and then our daughters, our girls in 9 to 14.
Right.
Let's encourage them to come and get the vaccine. Yes, I told you M1 is part of it all. 52 girls were vaccinated yesterday.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
That's excellent. Yes, before we go on the show today, I would want our guest to kindly give young ladies a word of advice, just a word of advice before you go.
Okay, well, so to our young ladies, I want to say your life is important, your health is important, and you have a whole life ahead of you to live it responsibly, and don't allow anyone to derail you. Those were the words of Dr. Funmi, a Nigerian medical doctor and current president of the Medical Women's Association of Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us today, ma.
Thank you for having me.
And finally, just before we wrap up, we always advocate for preventive medicines instead of treatment. So any lifestyle habits that you think Nigerians, girls, boys, men, women alike should inculcate, in order not to, develop or come about with, the HPV.
Yes, lifestyle modifications very important. Avoid multiple sexual partners.
if you don't have any business engaging in sexual
Et
intercourse,
petit
please
bonsin.
stay away. Abstinence is good, golden for our young girls.
Exactly.
And for adults who are past abstinence and they are free, but you must take your decisions responsibly.
Exactly.
Avoid excessive substance alcohol use, avoid smoking, avoid excessive alcohol consumption. Do everything in moderation, and then you will enjoy life, because life is meant to be enjoyed.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Funmi, for joining us. We hope next time we call you, you are going to honor our invitation. Thank you so much, and Lagos and the whole of Nigeria, we really appreciate you for joining us on this program. In case you're not able to listen to us on radio, you can join us on Radio Garden and search Wash 94.9 FM. That's your number one Fun Health Radio. Have a blessed Valentine.
Fantastic. And also on the shortly we're gonna be making a surprise birthday call to one of our colleagues' mom. She's celebrating a birthday today, Valentine's Day. So I think her name should be Love. Right. But anyways, we'll do that shortly. So thank you so much, Dr. Ige. Looking forward to having more insightful conversations with you here on Wash 94.9 FM.